Now, the diaspora has always been a vital partner in Jamaica's development. How do you see their role expanding? Do you see your role expanding in this new term?
This issue of bullying is something that I saw as I went around to schools. It is actually a conversation I started many months before the election with UNICEF. Because you don't want to do interventions that are just piecemeal. Because a lot of times in Jamaica, we do, okay, this seems right. It feels right. Let me do this.
So now it has been proven that not only did the Prime Minister, or does the Prime Minister not have 28 bank accounts, as has been peddled mercilessly across every blade of grass in Jamaica and strip of concrete. Every single one of you owe Dennis Strong an apology. Those of you lazy journalists, wicked civil society actors, those of you slick political operatives dressed up as whatever you're dressed up as, who held up, oh, he endorsed the Prime Minister, he defended the Prime Minister's possession of 28 bank accounts. Therefore, he shouldn't be FID head. And, oh, by the way, he doesn't have any experience, law enforcement experience. So those are the twin planks of the opposition. The vitriolic resistance to Dennis Strong on the basis that in your words or in your minds, he sought to make an excuse for the Prime Minister having 28 bank accounts. So now that the 28 bank accounts lie has been damaged, people are climbed down from all boat. Yeah? Jump off of the high ass, broke them back, broke them foot. Oh, it was never about the 28 accounts, you know.
1 p.m. once again, I big up the diaspora. But them know so them is well important to the development of Jamaica. And without the diaspora, a lot of, So I'm wondering if them are going, I think one of the moves where the Prime Minister should have made now is to allow the diaspora in the next election to vote. Because if we have to lean upon them so much for money, in a sense, a remittance, and to send back a bag of things in Jamaica, yeah, and practically support them family, loved ones in Jamaica back here. Enough of them just support them, working at the cool. So I think they deserve the chance to have a say where the election is concerned. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section.
Economic growth and job creation as pillars of your leadership. What immediate steps are being taken now in this new term to ensure Jamaicans, both at home and abroad, see tangible benefits?
Well, let's start with economic growth and job creation, which is an actual ministry, or was an actual ministry in our last 2 terms. We have reduced unemployment in the last 9 years from 13.5 or 13.7% to 3.3%. That's the lowest ever unemployment rate in Jamaica. The next step for that is to continue to decrease the unemployment rate. We're technically at full employment, but we're now going to be looking at improving and upskilling the Jamaican worker. Because though we have reduced unemployment, we do find from our various surveys that there may be significant underemployment in some areas. And, I said in my inauguration speech that more than 70% of our GDP is directly generated from the services economy. And if you think of what services is, it's the intrinsic delivery of output from the person. That separates service from person. And therefore, if you're going to improve service, which means improving your output, improving your productivity, and improving your GDP, you have to improve the person and their ability to deliver service. And that can only come through an improved base of education. And on top of that, you build even more sophisticated skills. So that's the effort that we will undertake in our new term here as Government of Jamaica, upskilling and improving our workers and that will have a very positive impact on our economy. However, there are other things that we will do to expand the economy. We don't usually try to select any specific industry for incentives or special treatment. Actively now pursuing the development of logistics as another plank of our economy, and we will be building out several special economic zones that will support, which will be near port and around our ports, which will support the development of the logistics industry, which will create new economic opportunities, expand the economy, and contribute to economic growth.
Now, the diaspora has always been a vital partner in Jamaica's development. How do you see their role expanding? Do you see your role expanding in this new term, especially in areas like investment, tourism, and philanthropy?
Diaspora is an important part of the Jamaican economy and society, particularly the economy. We have relied on the diaspora historically for philanthropy and for remittances. In the coming years, as Jamaica develops and becomes economically a stable country and a growing country, the diaspora can play and probably will play a more significant role in the local economy of Jamaica. And they would do this, first of all, through being a market for Jamaica's exports. So that would be the first line of target for our exports, to export to our diaspora, to consume our products. Secondly, to invest in Jamaica, starting particularly in real estate, and we're seeing that happening significantly. But we would like to see greater investments in Jamaica coming through our stock market, which is very well established, institutionally strong, but could do much better with an influx of investment in our stock market. That's a fairly easy way to invest in Jamaica. And then we would like to see the innovation and entrepreneurism of our diaspora being activated in Jamaica by starting business or getting into partnerships with businesses in Jamaica. And that would see an influx of capital to spur growth in, as I said, real estate, but in infrastructure, in energy, in agriculture. But as the economy becomes more sophisticated and our unemployment decreases, we will have to look to the diaspora for an infusion of skills, particularly higher level skills in technology, AI, for example, to fuel the growth of these new industries in Jamaica. So the diaspora, for us, it's family, but I think we have to start to think of the diaspora as more than families. The family is the basis, but we have to start thinking of the diaspora now as an asset that we can leverage to improve our economic prospects. But the diaspora also plays a critical role, which it has always played, but now I think we may need to have it more systematically, and that is what we call paradiplomacy. Having very strong and vibrant diaspora in the United States can help to support policy in Jamaica in a changing, sometimes a world that may not necessarily be favorable to small countries. So it is important that people who are living in the United States of Jamaican heritage and Jamaican lineage and family, and that they should get involved in the politics of the country they live, because it not only helps to ensure that the diaspora, wherever they live, that they can survive and thrive in the country they live, but it is also beneficial for their homeland.
This issue of bullying is something that I saw as I went around to schools. It is actually a conversation I started a few months, many months before the election with UNICEF, because you don't want to do interventions that are just piecemeal. Because a lot of times in Jamaica, we do, okay, this seems right. It feels right. Let me do this intervention. Let me work with the students in this way. But there are international standards and international programs that have worked. And the key thing for me in going to UNICEF was saying, we have this issue. It's an issue you see in other countries. And there must be standards in relation to how we address it. And also studies that have been done that show that this approach works and that doesn't work. And so we're already actually quite advanced in the work with UNICEF in looking at an anti-bullying campaign that gets to the heart of the issues. So remember, we don't just want to put a band-aid on a problem. That's not our administration's approach to anything. It's about understanding deeply what the issue is. And we have many different sets of issues that are occurring. You know, you have the person who is doing the bullying, who often is coming from a particular environment, and that we have to do work there. In the CPFSA, we met last week on the same bullying issue, and we were looking at children who may be exhibiting bullying behavior, and we're looking at having some of our therapeutic centers that we've written about and that we're implementing, having those therapeutic centers used for them and their families. We're actually looking at bringing the families in too. So it's not a band-aid that we are looking at in the Ministry of Education. We are having a mental wellness week in our schools where we're going to open up and talk more. If you look at our HFLE syllabus for our schools that exist currently, it is in there. When you talk to children, you know, talk to your first formers, they'll tell you that there are sessions where they sit and they speak about mental health. We have brought it into the curriculum. So when we talk about this administration again, we don't just say things, we're doing it. It's in our curriculum. So when you take up your HFLE syllabus, you see the focus on mental health. We're also working with the Ministry of Health on wellness gardens on the benches. And our Deans of Discipline associations will tell you that their focus as Deans of Discipline has been on providing spaces of wellness because they realize it can't just all be punitive, just giving suspensions. We also have to look at how we empower our children to tap into the emotions and feelings they have. But there's also more to it. I can go on all day on this, you know, but there's more to it. When we talk about peace in our country, we talk about violence prevention in our country. So that work that our Violence Prevention Commission has been doing is critical. And that's going to be coming soon, and we'll be talking about it at Post-Cab here. Because there are elements in our society, cultural norms too, that we're going to have to address if we want to truly do this. But we have to be strong on this bullying issue. Our guidance counselors or principals know that the ministry has empowered them to act strongly against it. There is no room for it in our system. No room at all. And they know that. But at the same time, we are also going to do what we have to do in order to create spaces for our children to feel safe, at least at school. The reality is they don't feel safe at home. They don't feel safe in their communities in many instances. And so we have to be using the school as that avenue to give them that sense of self and validation. And we are ready to do it. We are doing it. You're going to hear the anti-bullying campaign. You will be hearing also when we have our wellness week in schools, it will be across the entire country, where we're going to be putting in place a lot of these initiatives. We also have already hotlines that our children can use. They are using it. We have been disseminating it a lot more across the system.
For those of you who have been sending the message on the order of Jamaica, when people ask me how you feel, I say, well, that is not so much for me. It is for the people that have made me into what I am. And I will start with the people of West Kingston because they are responsible for what I am and for where I am today. And then when I graduate from that to commit to the public service as a minister, I talk about the things, but on my own I can't do it. So I share that honor not just with myself and my family and the people of West Kingston, but I share it with the ministry of local government, with all the players in the ministry, and the wide extension of the vast constituents of people right across the country. And it is something that I take pride in, because what it says is that not everybody likes it, but there are persons who recognize and appreciate the efforts. I recognize and I appreciate your efforts. And as your minister, I am committed on behalf of the government to ensure that we provide the tools, we give you the confidence, and most importantly, we give you the trust and the respect to undertake the work. God bless you all.
I have some juicy lineup of video this evening we're going to talk about. So now that the leader of the JLP, Dr. Andrew Holness' name has been cleared regarding the 28 bank account, what is it that these people who is saying that this man is a criminal because he might have 28 bank account, what is it that them are going to have to say now? What is their stance on that right now? So will they concede and apologize to Dennis Chang? As this gentleman is saying, them lazy journalists here, whenever they do them work, and love to jump on the bandwagon and attack, so the man have 28 bank account. Now is it proven? Now it is proven. We don't have to say for yourself. PNP people won't have to say to yourself. Let's listen to our education minister talk about bullying in school, because in today's world, 2025, we have a lot of bullies who are going in the school system now. Some of the youth, them seem as if them just leave, go to school just to bully youths and take what them have. So that for them style a scamming that now is to go in and take what the youth them have. I was just watching a video the other day when a young man was on a bus slapping up another young man, and I say, yo, no this me, and I say, yo, watch this. Boy, where we are headed? And when you act that kind of way, then police come and take you up, you say, police this and police that. Them kind of behavior need to stop, and then if you see a youth in them teens act that kind of way, then where you get it from? When you see it, it must be coming from the home or the company that them keep. So take a listen to Andrew Holness talking about job creation and investment in Jamaica, which as you can see, there's a lot of investment. But one of my concern is that I would love to see our fellow Jamaican doing more, owning more properties, owning more business, being more savvy when it coming on to holding a business, because very rarely you can make two ends meet some of the time on some of the 9 to 5 that we have to do. So I'd love to see some of our Jamaicans step out and start doing more, because this is so easy to create something. It is so easy to start a business. You just need to ask the right question and talk to the right people. You see me? Even if you're turned down the first step you make, you need to talk to some people. Keep talking, keep trying, never give up.